Okay,
He's got
we're recording.
Somebody's coming in.
Yeah, all right.
So, should we start?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
We'll just X out number 2, and we'll just go with welcome and introductions. What's this I hear about you? You're moving to a different position?
Yeah, I have already.
Oh, okay.
In fact, it happened back in April, and I've just been chugging along until we
Okay,
got
right.
someone hired. So I am now the Assistant Public Works Director, and my responsibilities are over water resources. So before I was over the city's streets and stormwater system and parks and fleet and traffic. Now I'm over the city's water, wastewater, and they took stormwater from the other division and put it under me. So I focus on that, and I will help out with the Public Works Advisory Commission instead. And Tyler Peay, who was hired to replace me, is the new Public Services Division Manager, and he and April will be the main contacts for the Beautification Commission to this
So
point.
is your office still in this building?
Yeah, and we're just across the hall. I moved
Okay.
from that office to that office.
So that's how you know you moved up, is you moved
Yeah.
one down there.
I tried to keep it so I
Closer
didn't
to the
have to
exit
move.
every time.
Closer to the exit, get out quick, right?
Yeah, I get to work a lot earlier now, so,
Nice.
because I have 6 steps fewer to take.
Well, we'll miss you.
Thanks,
I mean, at
John.
least I'll miss you. I don't know about anyone else, but
Yeah, you've
Most-
been with me the whole
yeah,
time.
it's been a while.
Everybody else is new.
So, okay, well, I guess we'll just,
So I'll start. I'm
Usually
Reed
you.
Price. I'm the Assistant Public Works Director and have been staff support to this group since I came here in 2015. And it's been fun. It's been a good group. It's been one of the more active groups of all of the committees that the advisory commissions and committees that the city council has. And it's been good to see everyone get energized and recognize people and create some buzz about beautifying the city. We've tried lots of different things over the years, and some things have stuck, others kind of fizzled, but the Beautification Award program is one that's been real good. So I'll still be around and poke your head in and say hi when you have meetings. But Tyler's here to learn, and I'll pass the torch to him at the end of the meeting.
So David Spencer, I'm on the Orem City Council, so I'm the liaison with the council to this Beautification Commission. So, and I think I've been here
It's yours, more than 2, 2 or 3 years, yeah.
this is, I think, into the 3rd year.
30 correct.
Yeah, like,
It seems like less because of COVID was kind of screwed things up.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so
so
3 years.
My name's Tyler Peay. I'm the one that Reed was speaking of that's just moved into his old role as the now Public Services Division Manager. I've been with the city for almost 15 years. All of those have been in the water section. And before I moved to this opportunity, I was the water section manager over there. So excited to be a part of this commission and see what we can do to help out. And anyway, it's good to be here.
Maple Nielson, I'm the secretary for Public Works and guys as secretary. If you have a problem, get a hold of me.
I'm Barb Cooper. I'm a retired ICU nurse, and I've lived in Orem for over 40 years.
Awesome.
I'm Quinn Mecham. I'm the chair of the Orem Natural Resources Stewardship Commission, and here to talk about how we might collaborate on our awards programs.
I'm Mark Shurtlif. I'm over Area 3. Got 2 businesses that I run here in Orem, an IT business and a notary company.
Matt Taylor, one of the senior planners with the planning division. I'm here to support Quinn and his role in the NRSC, but also to provide any feedback or help as I can. So,
And I'm Sean Orullian. I am a UPS driver, if you haven't noticed. I've been with the commission even before Reed came on, so it's been at least 8, 9 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
something like that. And I'm the vice chair, so I'm not in charge. Don't make me feel like I'm in charge. I don't want to be in charge. So, yeah. And I've worked with UPS for 23 years. So, okay.
We should, just for those that are new, this is an official meeting. The minutes are basically audio recordings. Everything that we say is recorded, and then April will draft the minutes. In fact, I have them right here. We can't approve the last ones because we don't have a quorum. We need to have at least half of us here. But you'll see that the minutes simply have links to a YouTube video, which is just audio. You click on it and it takes you to that portion of the meeting, and the public can listen to it. So just keep in mind that when we are here in this meeting, everything that we say is recorded and will be made available to the public.
Okay, let's talk about the Summerfest Parade. Who went? Did you watch?
I watched. I saw you in the fancy car
Did
with,
you? You have to get a story about that.
with the wings.
You were in the parade. I
Yes.
know you were in the parade. Is anyone else? No? No one else? Oh, you guys missed out. So some of the other commission members were there with us to support, and we actually had a good turnout with our commission. We had me and two other members.
Josh.
Ann
And Josh
no,
was,
three members.
Was Jared there? No, Jared.
Okay, I forget. One of the guys was new. I only met him once.
Josh was, he emailed and said, I can't find you guys. So I figured he eventually found you.
Oh, yeah.
He
So
never-
he came and
Was Elain there?
was he what?
Was Elain?
Oh, yes. I was wondering, like, Elain came. I didn't think she was going to show up. So amongst them and then all the people they probably brought 2 or 3 people each. So we had plenty of people who would sign and do all that stuff. So it went well. We got a good turnout. We got a good reception with the candy. And the candy, we were scraping at the end, but we managed to get it all out. That's not usually a problem, but so I had initially told you, and this actually happened, I think this happened before. We had like a screw up and then I had to get a different view. What happened? Do you
Well,
recall?
there was a vehicle, you had reserved a vehicle, but then somebody else needed it in the
Yes.
parade. But they had a
Jim
second
Evans.
one.
Jim Evans got it. Yeah, so I used that little blue Porsche last year. This year I was going to borrow
The
the red one finally.
T-Bird.
And then a week before there's a guy on my route that has these nice cars, and a week before the parade he called me and said that he wanted to start it and I couldn't start it and it was going to be in the shop. He didn't know how long it was going to take. So he said I could borrow his 1942 Ford pickup, cherry red, mint condition. And so I was excited for that. And then the night before I went down to his office down in the Riverwoods where he has his office to pick up the truck, and as he was getting in the elevator he bobbled the keys in slow motion. They fell out of his hands and went down the elevator shaft.
Oh,
And it was Friday night, no one was around, he couldn't get a hold of anyone. So he said, can I interest you in borrowing a different vehicle? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, this one's probably way better than the truck. I'm like, well, what could have been better than this red pickup truck? I'll see if I can find it. This is the pickup truck that he was gonna let me use.
Pretty.
nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. The back had the wooden bed and it was all polished and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But instead he let me borrow that Mercedes.
Wow.
Discontinued. It's been discontinued about 10 years, and I looked at the retail price of something like that. It's about a $150,000 car. It's driving like this.
White knuckle the whole
Yeah,
time.
so it worked out great. The doors open up like some of the Teslas do, like that. And so I put on the door, I don't know if you guys can see the
yeah.
beautification sign for the yard awards, and hung it on there. And then we had the trunk open and had some flowers in
You
the
just
back.
slap
and
some duct tape right up there and
just right across. No, I used painter's tape. Yes. Put all the candy in the back, and everyone was kind of followed from behind, except for the banner in the front. And
Nice.
it worked out. So for next year, when we get involved with the parade, and you will be helping us with that, he's going to let us go back and borrow that red truck.
Oh, cool.
He
Because I said,
retrieved
I don't
the
want to do
keys.
the T-Bird, I want to do that truck. So so we have that hooked up for next year, unless something
Nice.
crazy happens. So other than that, it was great. We got a good reception. Everyone was cheering and, beautification. I don't know if it was that or if it was the car I was driving and me revving the engine every so often, but it was good.
I'm
I think it
sure,
worked
I'm
out
sure it
well.
was a commission.
And you saw our group, it was pretty
Yes,
well
I saw it,
attended.
yeah.
So we had a good amount of people there.
And
Anyway.
that's part of one of the things that we do to try and promote the commission, involvement in the parade, newsletter submissions, our award programs in both the summer and the winter. So check mark on doing that.
Okay. So newsletter submissions, I don't even know, have we talked about that
We've done
recently,
it.
or who's even in charge of?
Elain is the one who
Okay.
has led the effort, and I was in her absence. It's
Yeah,
probably something we can postpone until the next meeting.
okay.
Can I ask what kinds of things you submit to the newsletter?
Well, we hadn't really done anything
In-
through this summer.
In the past, it's ranged from gardening tips to wise water use to garage sale signs. Don't post them on light posts because it makes the tape sticks to it. To my duct tape comment. So it's a wide range of
But it's tips.
yeah.
Small little paragraph that,
I think we've done one like
Cent-
winterizing your garden.
Yep. Central Utah Water Conservancy District has some wise water use things that we've borrowed, and it's Elain has, who is the commission's chair. She has a large list of topics that she's passionate about and has supplied many of them. We've taken turns in other years where someone will submit something on a topic of their choice. I think it was one that they did on importance of butterflies. So it's a wide range of topics.
and it's helpful for people, obviously information, but I think it's also just to get them seeing Beautification Commission, seeing that on a continual basis as a group that's actively involved in what they're doing. So really what the tips are, I don't know if that's really that super important, but at one point we had planned to have people rotate every month. It was assigned to a different commission member, and they would submit something to her.
We've only had 2 submissions this past summer.
So we really need to get
We
that.
need to reinvigorate.
We need to
that.
get that tied down and figured out a little bit better next time that she's here, so we can be more involved with that.
We need to have them by the 25th of the month in order for it to get on to be guaranteed to make the electronic newsletter.
It goes out in print as well?
It's mostly, the monthly ones are electronic, and they've scaled them way back. I don't even,
Seems like I still
No,
get
if-
print ones at some point.
it might be quarterly
I think
or
those aren't quarterly.
a couple of times a year, but it's much more cost effective to send them electronically.
All right, well, let's move on to discussing Wise Water Use Award Program with our guests.
So I'll remind everyone what we've done. The last time we met, Josh Daughetee, who is one of our commission members, suggested that we consider doing something to recognize citizens in the community who are doing their best to use water wisely. Looking at xeriscaping, trying to show how you can do xeriscaping within the city's code, which requires 50% to have some sort of green, not necessarily grass, but shrubs. But how could we recognize them and promote efforts to use water wisely? And the idea, Matt was here last time to kind of talk about some ideas, but we didn't really dive deep into the details, and it was suggested that we invite someone from the Natural Resources Stewardship Commission to come, and because that water is a resource, it's a natural resource, and perhaps we would be duplicating efforts if we decided to take on something like that ourselves. So we wanted to bring them to the table to see if they had considered doing something like that, if they're currently doing something like that, and to determine, is it something that they would like to do, or should we do it together? Just to talk through the specifics of what we hope to accomplish and how to accomplish it to recognize wise water users. So, I don't know.
Thanks.
Quinn,
Yeah, can I speak to that for a little bit? So, for those of you that haven't yet visited our committee, we meet the first Thursday of the month at 5 p.m. in City Hall. And we have divided our committee up into responsibility over a range of different natural resources. So we have energy, we have land use, we have water, right? We are interested in preserving orchards in the city. We're interested in active transport and recycling and waste. We're interested in issues around waste as well. But water has been one of the areas that we care quite a bit about. 2 years ago, we started giving out awards from our commission to businesses and individuals. And so we actually, we give out awards based on improvement and, businesses or individuals that we think are good community examples of the way that they wisely use their resources. So this year we actually gave an award to an individual in part based on wise water use. She was a former teacher at Timpanogos High School who spends a lot of time training members of the community on how to redo their yards in ways that are full of natural native vegetation, and so we gave an award this year. But we have been talking as a committee for some time, actually, about the possibility of collaborating with you, because we think that one of the good messages that we could send is that native vegetation and xeriscaping can be beautiful, right? That it's one of the ways that we create beauty in our community. And so my proposal for your discussion is that we have a joint award for something that meets your criteria of beautifying the city and meets our criteria around using resources wisely. And a question that I had is if you give awards to businesses as much as you give to individuals?
No, we typically, in the past, we've divided the city up into 6 areas. We have 7 members, and 6 of the members in those 6 areas focus on residences, but they don't have to.
Okay.
And then the 7th can go throughout the whole city, and then they focus on businesses.
They do
primarily.
focus on businesses, okay.
Yeah.
I did find the gas station just on the corner of the Chevron Holiday. I picked them because I did see that they were zero
Are you the
escaping.
7th?
I am
member?
the 7th,
Okay.
yes. And so I gave them and they were excited.
Okay.
But I think they're a good example of the zero escaping. There's a lot of gas stations around that are doing that as I went through the whole city, constantly looking.
One nomination that has come from a member of our committee for a business is, there's a juice in Java that is...
They got one too.
Did they get one?
Yes.
From you?
Yes.
For the same reasons?
Well, I thought it was very attractive,
Okay.
and again, they were using natural
Okay.
everything. So, yes, they got one too.
Okay, great.
So we're kind of on the same page.
I think we are, yeah.
Yeah,
Good job, Barb.
she will give out over the 4, we're doing 4 months or 5?
I don't know, I've given
5.
all 10 out.
Yeah,
5.
Five months, 2 each month.
2 each month. So she would give a total of 10 out over the spring, summer months.
We hand out 70
To
awards.
To businesses?
Yes, I'm business only.
We hand out 70 awards total, ideally, if everyone does all 10 each year, and then we do 2 each for holiday lighting awards.
Okay.
In fact, I could show you real quick, Quinn.
I saw your slides from April, so I got to see some of the ways you divided it
So
up.
we've got we've got, when they submit it, there's an online form that we have. They'll go out and fill it out, the date the award was given, your name. I guess I have to pretend.
Oh, this is filled out by committee members.
Yeah, so they
Yes.
can do this in the field.
Okay.
And then, then they get the name of the homeowner if they know it, the address, if we can take a picture, other helpful, then they upload pictures. Then April gets notice, and then she'll come over here and put shots on all of our, the locations that receive them.
Have you ever, either purposefully or accidentally, given an award to the same person twice?
Yeah, that's probably happened.
Well, mine, on my list when I went back, it didn't say the name of the businesses when I went to look. So I was trying to guess on their address. So when I submitted my group, I put their business name and then their address.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
So, I
We
don't
have the
know.
current year up.
Yeah, so Quinn, we can go back and pull up.
And when you give them an award, you give them a sign,
Yes.
but there's no cash award.
Oh,
No.
no.
Yeah, that ended probably 5,
Well,
6
we
years
have
ago.
letters that are signed by the mayor, and we think that recognition by the mayor, plus a sign that they can keep,
It's kind of nice.
is, you know, we wonder how many people pull it out every year and, you know, put it out.
What we've been doing is we just go to, a trophy shop and we get a physical award and present it at city council.
Yeah, and that, which, it sounds like you're doing one.
We do 2 a year.
Okay, two a year. And maybe wise water use, we don't have enough xeriscapers to really recognize as many as we have green lawns and nice flower beds. There's a lot more to choose from when it comes to that, which is why we
Yeah.
have 70 awards that we give out. But if we wanted to narrow the scope down and have a joint effort to do something more specific, I don't think that the committee would be against that at all.
I guess it's an open question for the committee if you're just happy doing what you're doing, right? Or if you see any benefit in jointly sponsoring something.
What are the criteria that you use when you select?
Well, historically, like for a business, it would be either improvement, the amount of change they've made in recent periods, or it would be just great leadership. It's called the Natural Resources Leadership Award because they're demonstrating what's possible. So if we're thinking about that in terms of a yard, right, I think our criteria would be pretty similar to yours, which is you have done something really cool and creative here. And I know Salt Lake County is really trying to be quite aggressive in terms of encouraging people to pull out some of their lawn and redecorate with native vegetation. And if we have people that are actually changing their yards in a way that reflects more water-wise use, then that would be certainly fit our criteria.
Well, as I've thought about this, the idea was proposed, my gut reaction when Josh suggested it was, this sounds like something that the Natural Resources Stewardship Committee would be a best fit doing, but I didn't want to dismiss it right away. We looked a little bit, we reviewed a couple of sources that Josh had found online at the last meeting, and ultimately decided to invite you to see what was being done. And it sounds like we certainly want to, I believe that the committee wants to continue doing the Beautification Awards with the simply looking at nice landscaping. I had my doubts as to whether or not we would have enough to have as aggressive of a program as we have with the Beautification Awards. And it sounds like you guys are already addressing it and probably are doing so appropriately with just a couple awards a year right now. Maybe as the years go on and more people xeriscape, there will be opportunity to expand the program from 2 per year, but that remains to be seen.
What do you think as members of the committee, what do you think would be appropriate?
I personally think that, I like what you said, pretty much everything you said about that. I think what maybe we could do on our part is maybe because we're more, I don't know how you guys go about it, but we're actively go out on days and drive around our areas. And maybe if we do notice people that have done something, we can refer that individual to you guys.
Oh, we would love that.
To take that on, because, I mean, like you said, there's a lot more of us out there looking for a lot more places to give awards to. And our beautification for me, when I look at a house, it's not just, is the grass green, are there flowers? And our criteria for an award is very subjective, depending on the person. I'm kind of OCD, so when I see green grass, that's not it. I want to see edges trimmed, I want to see it trimmed around the edges. And it's not just, to me, the yard, it's also, is the house maintained? Do they take care, do they clean up the trash in their gutter? It's just everything that makes the yard beautiful. And it just so happens that grass and flowers and plants is half of it for me. But, so I think there's a lot that we already do, so maybe it might be a good idea if we have their contact, so that if we go out and we see something like that, we can pass it along to them and they can address it as they desire, because like I said, we are out there a lot and we see a lot more of those than you guys might.
Yes, you do, I'm sure.
But I don't know. And like you said, who knows, it might, in the next few years, it might become a thing where every other house is doing it and we might want to change our approach, but I don't see a lot of those. I see it more so businesses, that's where I see most of it happening, which is good because they use a lot more landscape water than a normal house would, but that's my personal opinion.
It's a big investment to xeriscape your yard. To rip everything out, buy rock and water, low water use shrubs, and reroute your sprinkler system to be able to water all the new stuff.
And also, I don't know how feasible this is, but part of you guys is also wanting to try to see if people are conserving water. I don't know if there's a way to get numbers from the city as far as people that have drastically reduced their water consumption, and they can get recognized that way too, because natural resource water use kind of relates to beautification, but also it doesn't, because if they're not using it, if they're being smarter with washing their cars or whatever else in their house, that's not even something that we would even touch.
Yeah,
So
we could look at that internally and see. We could easily identify people who have drastically reduced their water use, and maybe go and look and see if they have changed their landscaping
Or if their whole
something
yards
like
are
that.
dead.
It might just
Yeah,
might be a dead yard, yeah.
That's probably what we're going to run into. So we're probably inviting a lot of
Could be that the
unnecessary
front yard's
work.
beautiful and the backyard's completely dead too. So.
Yeah.
Where are we on the water metering?
We hope to have the AMI done by the end of the year, beginning of next spring for the watering season. What he's referring to is we're installing automatic read meters where the signal will be beamed up on a daily basis, and you can check your water consumption every day to see what's going on. So our plan is to have that system running next summer.
Okay. So right now it's the communications issue, right, with the towers?
And replacing the meters. It's been supply chain issues to get the new meters
Oh, really?
and the electronics that are needed.
What percentage of the city has been replaced?
We're at 65%, but we're in fact, we had a meeting earlier today to talk about hiring some of that out to aggressively knock that out in order for us to be ready by next spring.
That's one of the things we're most excited about, because we just think being able to see your water use on your phone will automatically lead to lower water use.
Yep.
because
as one who had it at his home during a testing phase 7 years ago, I can attest to it was nice to be able to say, oh, wow, that's my water usage. I need to scale back.
a couple of years ago, we did have a really great field trip from our committee up to, is it Jordan Water Conservancy District? That has a wonderful,
South Jordan.
It's in South Jordan, a wonderful landscaping, native grasses exhibit, ways of beautifying your home in a way that's consistent with these principles. And we were really impressed. Everybody was inspired by it, and it's beautiful. So that might be something your committee might consider at some point in the future. What I think I've heard, and I don't know if I've heard all the comments on it, but go ahead.
I think it'd be redundant for us to do it. I think that maybe some submission to your committee might be more beneficial.
I agree. I mean, I could have sent you the gas station, for instance, and say, here, they're a great example of it.
Okay.
So, and then let you take care of it, and I could have maybe picked a different business. But I just thought it was so nice and neat and clean looking.
Okay. I think we're meeting this week. I can bring this proposal to my committee. But just to play it back, what I think I've heard is that since you are out looking all over the city all the time, that if you had a place where you could send like good examples of this, then we could go and we could actually talk to the people and investigate it and make recommendations for individual awards that way and business awards that way. It might require that we rethink how we recognize if we have quite a few options. Rather than 1 or 2 a year, we might end up having signs, getting signs developed. But I think that I'm comfortable with that, and I can bring it to our committee. The one question that remains for me is, if you do see something that you really want to honor because it's gorgeous, right? That also fits these criteria, we could both help, sponsor it if you wanted.
Yeah.
I don't think that they shouldn't be. I mean, if they're have something that's beautiful and they're using water wisely, I
Why
don't
can't
see a
we
problem
both?
with them being recognized for both
Yeah.
purposes.
Okay.
So we can just, because I know April doesn't have that much going on, we'll just send her, if we find stuff that relate to that, we can just, I don't know, if we send it to you, you can pass it along to them and.
I think the summary here is we can be an additional set of eyes for you.
I would love that.
Let staff know what we've had, and we can forward it on to your group to investigate further to see what types of practices they're using and how you can best recognize them.
Okay. Matt, how do you feel about that?
That's good. Happy to be a liaison.
Okay.
And I think if we post anything on Facebook or on the newsletter that has to do with water, we can always just put a plug in for your guys' commission as well to say, hey, check them out as well, because it does relate in some aspects.
The more messaging we get out around that, the better. So if you want to
Yeah.
message around it, that's great.
And it's one of those things where, I mean, we've been in a pretty serious drought for what, they said like 10 years now, but still, we're only like pushing this really hard just recently, which seems kind of odd, but maybe this will get rolling a lot more with what we're doing, so. Yeah.
Quinn, for your knowledge, the changes that the city council made a couple of years ago were to the landscaping ordinance, where it used to require 75% green, moved it to 50%. The Beautification Commission was behind that and helped move that effort forward.
We were on that policy
Review.
discussion too, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and I think there's an open question. We had a question come up in our committee the other month as to whether that's the right number. Right, given the kind of drought we have, we'd be interested in thinking about whether it should be even lower. I don't know. It's an open discussion.
Well, and there's also the whole using native plants that, I mean, because I don't know, I heard this recently on the news. There's this, I don't know where I heard it from, but there's this new grass seed that they're developing that uses like half as much water and you can go out and buy like this big bag of it for like cheap. And I mean, you could put your whole lawn in with that, and it might look like you're using a lot of water, but if it uses half as much water, you imagine how many hundreds of gallons of water you use a year. That's another thing you can do too. And I mean, just cutting out green, I don't think is always the option. I think it's more putting in those plants that require a lot less. So you could have a full yard of those plants, and it's all green and colorful, but you're not using hardly any water. So I guess it just really depends on your perspective.
It's true.
Messaging for water conservation has gotten out, whether it's through your efforts, our efforts, or the media in general, or the governor, or whoever. But we've seen, was it 17, 19% reduction from last year, Tyler?
In what period?
Sorry?
The water use.
Reduction?
Yeah.
I think we were 16% this year. Is that what you said?
Is that year to
Yeah.
year?
That would be just last year to this current year. On a rolling year, we checked it in June, I think, so,
And that's as a city at whole, like residents
Yeah.
and businesses and everything else.
yeah, just overall water output that we sold. 18% reduction, which is great. Yeah,
It's great from a water supply point of view that we're keeping it up in the mountains, but when it comes to a revenue point of view, where we need to
little rough.
pay for a water tank and a well and things like that, it's a hit. So we'll weather the storm.
Is that factoring in the increased population, or is that overall, or
overall total water for the city.
more households
treated
but still less water?
and sold, it was an 18% reduction from last year to this year up to June.
Very
The
nice.
And we were
populations
on
would-
track through the whole year. We're doing really
The
good.
population wouldn't have changed too much over the course
Over
of one
one
year,
Yeah.
but there was a significant effort on the part of the community to conserve.
It's about 1,000 a year. 1,000 people move.
Yeah.
Thanks for your support, and
Yeah.
we'll look forward to seeing your recommendations. If you send an address and say if it's residential or commercial, and if you happen to know the name of the business or the name of the individual, that would be great. And do you have my email in the email that Reed sent out?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
We can find you.
Email
We've got
find
access to lots of information. There's a portal that has all of the committees and everybody's contact information on that
We
too.
could get on Google Earth right now and pinpoint his house if we wanted to. I know how to do that. Yeah.
My yard is
Nothing
doing
private.
pretty well on water conservation, but pretty bad at beautification. So they don't always go together.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. Is there anything else we need to talk about? I don't know if there's anything else really that's super urgent, other than just, I have to submit a bunch of my award stuff. I have not done that. So, do you have signs? Have you been given signs and stuff?
Yeah.
So let's make sure we just get this last push out to get all the rest of the stuff out.
So how many signs do we have left? You know,
You mean as far as here, or people that have taken them?
that taking them and because
Everybody's taken them.
Okay.
All 70 have been taken, and they've been trickling in. The award recording has been coming and trickling in throughout the summer.
And who knows, if you have some that still have some for October, hey, give a Halloween award.
Or if you have 3 or 4 left, just go out this week and sign up 3 or
Yeah.
4. But I'm sorry, this summer has been really hard for me with just a lot of stuff, work and everything, so I will get down on Facebook and try to figure out how to make you an administrator on the page so you can give everyone else access so they can start posting stuff on the page as far as the awards and the pictures and that. I've been out of it. It's been a really crappy summer, so.
Yeah, I haven't done anything on Facebook. I've been submitting them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We can put a flood through here pretty
You
soon,
can't
but
put it on the Facebook page, the Beautification Facebook page, unless you are an administrator. And so as soon as I'm an administrator, y'all get to become.
so basically what we need to do is everyone needs to add everyone as friends, so we all actually officially become friends. Because
So
right
it's
now we're not
actually
friends.
Orem Beautification?
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
Yeah,
beautification.
Orem Beautification Commission. we all add each other as friends, and then me and a couple other people have had access, but since I created the page, I just make everyone an access to posting stuff, and then you can get on there and post whatever you want.
Okay,
And it'll when you post something, it posts as the commission itself, not you specifically.
oh, good.
So just be mindful that
And
you're posting
it
in
will
behalf of
go-
us.
Will it go to all of Facebook or just
It
those
go-
that are
it's
following?
it's posted on our page and whoever follows.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've found in the past is when I've given out awards and I've told people we've posted on Facebook, they check it out and then they start following because they got the award, and then
Okay.
they tell their family members, and then they start following. So the more we give out, the more it posts, the better it is, because then people get interested and they start
Okay.
following it. So
The city's Facebook page and social media efforts also will share it, and
Okay.
that drives people.
So if
to
they're
it as well.
following that, they could see it
Uh-huh.
on that. Okay.
well, you can see it even if you're not following. You just have to search the page and look it
Right.
up. But yeah.
Okay.
Did I hear you say you have shirts?
I do, I have your shirts. I'll give that to you after the meeting.
Thanks.
Well, I don't think there's anything else. Just thanks, Reed, for all you've done, and we miss seeing you. We'll just pop in your office once in a while, but we look forward to working with you. And you have a high bar to set, or you have a high bar to reach with him leaving.
He is much taller than I am.
Yeah. Every so often he brings in pizza and out of his own pocket. No, just kidding. Okay, well, I guess
So our next meeting is,
It'll probably be
Yeah, wait,
end of
Like,
end of October, 4th Monday of October.
that's,
Halloween? It can't be
That might be
Halloween.
Halloween.
1, 2, 3, no, it's the 24th. Okay.
and we don't really need to
Yeah, we don't really.
make a motion, so thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Been good.
You can still post the recording, right?
Yes.